Cambodian. They're like, Samoan? Like, I'm sorry, must be my thick accent. I'm Cambodian. They're like, oh yeah, Cambodia, the refugee camp with the starving people. Yes. I'm starving.
I'm starving. There we go. Welcome to Squirrel Town Talk. It's your boy, Mr. Squirrel Town himself, and we have our lovely, funny, the stand-up comedian, actor, and writer, Lynn Sun.
Yay! Hi! Can they hear me now?
Yeah.
Hi! Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, you welcome. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to interview you. It's been forever. For those who don't know, we linked up a very long time ago. I was doing something called Laugh My Podcast Off, and then I had a male and a female version. I did the males first and then the females. But she was part of that group. She was just so busy. I mean, she's grinding. She's a grinder, and she doing all this stand up out in LA and everywhere else. So, she just didn't have time at that point, but now she has time. So I appreciate the opportunity for getting Lynn on here, and we're going to, do our thing. How's LA going?
It's going. I love LA. I lived in the East Coast for a little bit, and I don't know. LA's my home.
Really?
I mean, I like it. Yeah, I like it, but not to live.
Yeah, see, I don't like them. You like the East Coast, but not to live. I don't like them gas prices on either side. That's
I know.
They're
like
either side.
Yeah.
Right. I came out to LA. I was just in LA last month. I was in Oceanside, and I looked at one of the gas signs, and I almost fell out of my chair. It was crazy. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, but to know a little bit about Lynn, let me give you a little bit of her bio. Lynn Sun is a Cambodian single mom comedian. She is the first Cambodian comic to have a 30-minute special on Peacock TV and an hour special on Prime Video. She's a menace on the mic, and her Instagram handle, Lintorious, suggests that she's sicker than your average. Her wildest dreams is to marry Eminem. Wow. You really put that in your bio. Golly. Okay. Wow. Eminem, huh? Okay.
I love the shirt.
Oh, Mom Spaghetti. Okay. Yeah. I feel you. Okay. So Lynn, I don't even want to know about the Eminem story, but how'd you get your start? Like, what made you want to be a comedian?
My God. Well, I became a mom. Well, no, I've always wanted to be a stand-up, but I thought it was harder than being a doctor. I was like, I can't be a stand-up. You just go up there and just talk. That's hard. And make people laugh. You have to make people laugh.
Right.
I didn't know that there was such thing as writing punchlines, right? So I put that to the side. Like, I'm never going to be a stand-up. And then when I became a mom, I was like, what's harder than being a mom?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to try. I'm going to try taking a class and see if I like it. And I ended up finding something that I'm really good at. So, motherhood.
Oh, I thought it was the comedian part that you was going to say you was good at.
No, I'm not good at being a mom at all. Comedian on the other hand. Because motherhood is what led me to being a comedian. I would never have done it without being a mom.
Really?
I needed to find my mojo. I was losing myself in parenting. So that's how we started.
Yeah. Wow. So, and how long have you been doing comedy?
6 years. This is my 6th year.
Wow. I mean, from what I've seen, Lynn has been really, really doing her thing. I mean, so in a 6-year period, you've managed to do a lot. Yeah. So, I mean, so once you did the class and you were convinced that you wanted to do this full time or, as a comedian, like, where do you go from there? Like, how did you get your break?
So I first took the class, and then I did a graduation showcase at Flappers Comedy Club. It was in front of 200 people. I did really well, but it's a graduation class, family, friends, they're going to laugh,
Yeah.
So you don't really know if you're funny as a comedian, or your family and friends are just laughing. You know?
Right. They're laughing at you or laughing with you.
They're just supportive, you know?
Right.
So then after that, I started getting shows through referrals from fellow comedians. So fellow comedians would say, hey, I know someone booking, you want to submit to her? And I would do like small shows, like bars and garages and whatever. And then one of my comedy teachers booked me for her show at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood.
And I know I've been past there. I took pictures of it. I know that's like a staple for comedians.
Yeah, for comedians. And I was only like 4 months in. November, December, January, like 5 months in or something. And then they took my clip, the Laugh Factory took my clip and posted it on their Instagram. And it got like 1.2 million views.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this was in 2019. Wow. Yeah, wow. And then that's how I got my jump. So that's how I got, more followers, and I started doing more shows, and I was invited to do more, and etc. And then 2020 hit. So
Yep.
But and then I just continued to do Zoom comedy. So when I started doing Zoom comedy, I started networking with people from out of state. And that's how I started doing shows out of state. So I just never stopped, even during Zoom. I kept going, and that's how I got my hour, because I kept writing. I was still writing even through the pandemic. Yeah.
So you went to the Laugh Factory. You did your stand-up. You got the exposure. You started doing shows, and then the pandemic hit. And then, so how did you bounce back after, once things started to go back to normal? How did you bounce back from the pandemic?
I just bounced right back. It wasn't hard for me because I kept performing. The only difference was that, on Zoom in comedy, you say a punchline and then you have to wait until the laugh dies down. And then you say your next joke.
Okay? Yeah.
So once we went back on stage, I started doing that on stage. So and I'm just standing there waiting for the crowd to finish laughing. And I'm like, I don't need to do that anymore. I have a microphone.
Right. But, she's like, wait a minute.
I just stood there like, I waited for
That's that muscle memory. That's what that is.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I ran into, but I found my voice in Zoom. I found my comedy style and everything through Zoom. So I bounced right back. It wasn't hard for me.
Wow. So I mean, okay, so now you're a stand-up comedian, you have actor, writer as well. So how do you manage to put together like a 30-minute segment? Because I know you said you did the classes and you got past the stage fright part of it.
Yeah.
The pandemic is over, you're back in it. How does Lynn Sun manage to put together her stand-up 30-minute?
So for the 30-minute one, I was cast for a special called Comedy Invasion, which is on Peacock. So that one, when the director called me to cast me, he was like, we need you to do 30 minutes. And when you get an opportunity like that, you just say, okay.
Yeah. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. Because they were going to put on a streaming service, right? So I said, okay. And then I knew I had different chunks of material, right? So I had like parenting, pandemic, being a massage girl, because I used to be a massage girl.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You slid that one there. Yeah.
So I had those chunks, and each chunk was like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 15 minutes here. So then all I had to do was figure out, okay, which chunk goes first?
Yeah.
Oh, do I open with one-liners? And then I get into parenting, and then I get into massages, which is like the end, the closer, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I did it. I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm not one to sit and write 30 minutes. Like I just put all my chunks together. Yeah.
So is it true that you have to read the room when it comes to like doing a set? Like, let's say you do a couple of jokes and people just ain't laughing. How do you improvise?
You're just bombing.
You're like these. Hey, they looking at you like she ain't funny, man. I thought you said she was funny.
You're like, we can hear each other breathe in here. So when you're very new and you only have a 5-minute set, you're just gonna have to power through it. You're just gonna have, if you're new, because you don't have any other things, just you don't know where to go, unless you're like naturally gifted at crowd work, right? But most new comics are too scared to do it.
Right.
So you just gotta power through and learn from the bomb. But if you're more experienced, like I am, then you know, oh, they didn't like the dark jokes. I got to get rid of that dark joke. And then now I got to go into, let's go into parenting.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Okay.
Oh, they'll like parenting better. And they laugh at the lighter stuff. Right. Or sometimes I even do the massage jokes, which always works. But there's some crowds that are like, we don't like it. So I'll be like, okay, well, I'll say 1 or 2 jokes and then I'll just I'll go back to parenting again, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, what if they have never had a massage? So, like you said, it's kind of relate. It has to relate to things.
It has to relate.
Yeah.
But also, men enjoy that material. It's usually women who are uncomfortable with it sometimes because they're like, "Oh, you get paid to do that," you know, like they don't.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know.
So, is it true that different, what would you say, age groups are? Like, do you have to switch it up for different age groups? Like, let's say it's some millennials versus some Gen X's.
You know, typically what we like to do is write for everybody. So the best thing is to write a joke that can relate to every single age group.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I like to do it. That's how I like to do it. I don't write so much, like, I don't make so many references that are so old that Gen Z is not going to get.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have jokes like that. My jokes were
universal.
Like, even if you don't have children, you'll think that my parenting jokes are hilarious just because it's a hilarious joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So I've always been one to go to comedy shows. And one thing I noticed is, like, somewhere during the stand-up, let's say it's a 30-minute stand-up, and let's say I go to the restroom, I come back. It's like the comic always manages to catch somebody before they go back and sit down, and they start a joke on them. Is that like something that's like industry standard? Like, if you catch them... No? Okay.
No. It's not industry standard. I think people, they just like to do it just to pick on him. Because, wait, hold on. Nate, is there music coming from somewhere?
Yeah, it's in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, it's been on the whole time we've been interviewing. Let me turn this down a little bit before I freak you out. Yeah. Yeah, this music been on. I put that music on when we first came on.
I know, but I was thinking, is one of my tabs on that has music? I'm like, anyway, no, that's not industry standard. But you know what I've noticed? The more I'm in the stand-up, I noticed that people, the audience, like being involved.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what it is. They feel connected. They want to be a part of the show. Whatever it is, they like being involved. So when you pick on somebody in the audience or whatever, people like they enjoy it.
Yeah.
They feel like they're a part of it, you know?
Uh-huh.
That's why they do it. I don't think it's because it's not a standard, no.
Okay. I was wondering because I forgot, what was her, was it Monique? I think it was Monique that got me. Have you ever heard of Monique?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I walked in and she got me. Like, she was like, sit your pissy ass down or something. Because I went to the restroom, and then she got right back on her jokes. I was cracking up. So going into that kind of question, what if, how sometimes you lead into a joke with someone in the audience, and then they want to heckle, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, and how have you been trained to kind of get back into your routine?
So the training with heckling that I got was that you always have a line to shut them up. Just use the same line. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought this was a conversation. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right,
oh,
right.
this is not an interaction, or I can hear you. This is not TV. You just
Yeah,
whatever the line is, right?
you're right.
But the more you're loose and if you're comfortable with crowd work, then you just play with the crowd. If it's a heckle that's respectful, like it's not any, if
Right.
it's something you want to entertain.
Yeah,
If
keep
it's
it going.
something,
Like, yeah.
right. If it's something you don't want to entertain, then you just shut it down. And then if there's good security, they'll come and tell them to be quiet.
Right, like chill out. Hey,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like some of the places that you've went and some of the people that you've like performed with, tell us a little bit about that.
Ooh, who have I performed with? Okay, so I did a show with Jay Leno.
Damn.
Which was
Okay.
very cool. I mean, he didn't book me, and we just happened to be on the same show.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, you were still in the same room with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like we were on the same stage. But it's not like he was like, Lynn, I love you. I got to book you. He don't know me. We were just on the same.
Right.
But my point is, Jay Leno, when I met him, he was so. You see Jay Leno, and you know he's a star.
Yeah.
Like he just exudes charisma
Yeah.
and generosity. Like he exudes it. Like the way he shakes your hand. Like he doesn't know who I am. I walked in, and I was like, "Hi, Jay," and he got up from his seat to shake my hand, which shows me like he didn't have to do all that, but that's probably one of the reasons why he's so famous.
Absolutely.
And and then when he did the show, he only did his time. He didn't run the light. He just did his time and got off the stage. Very professional. He just and running the light means going over your time as a comedian.
Going over your time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very just. I saw Chappelle at a show at my job. Like he came to my job and did
come on, not Chappelle. What?
I was like this. I'm like,
you was like, what?
My boss
is this a joke?
I know. I was like, wait a minute. But I tried to take a picture with him before he went on stage, and his security was like, no, you can't. He doesn't want any pictures before he goes on stage.
Yeah.
But he was, so Chappelle, a cool story about him is that my son, he's 7 years old and he stays in the green room, right? Chappelle was in the green room with my son, who didn't know who Chappelle was at all.
Little kid don't know.
Yeah. In there, but when his friends came, they all went outside to smoke. They didn't want to smoke in the green room because my son was there, which I thought was very respectful.
Yeah,
it was
That's
really
cool. Wow. Yeah. Well, so being in LA, that's where everybody goes for entertainment. That's where LA, New York, of course, now in Atlanta, Chicago sometimes. So how hard is it being a comedian out there with the likes of everybody who's coming up and, like you only get so many people that can be at so many shows, at so many venues. How hard and challenging has it been to be that consistent stand-up comedian?
This is just for me personally, because everybody has their own different way of doing things, right? And because of my circumstances, I'm a single parent. You know what I mean? I can't always be going out every night. If I was young, no attachments, single, whatever, I'd be out every night.
Yeah.
I would be annoying everybody. I would be out every night. You know what I mean? Just doing what I love, just getting on the stage. But me personally, I can't do that. So what I do is I produce my own comedy shows.
Really?
So when you produce your own comedy shows, you get to give people stage time, and you also get to practice headlining or, hosting whatever you practice. So that's how I do it. That's how I get my stage. Yeah.
And so how did you get started in doing that? Like, who told you, or what advice did someone give you to tell you, what, this might be a good opportunity for you to start producing your own shows and stuff like that? Like, how'd you get started in doing that?
You know what happened was I just watched the way my teachers produce comedy shows. And I just copied what they did. Yeah. Because I come from a background in doing events. So I knew how to produce an event. But then when I figured out how to produce a comedy show, I was like, I can do that.
Yeah,
And
it's like it's nothing. It's an
but
event.
it's an event, and the thing is,
Mhm.
I care so much about it. Like I do it. I take it seriously because you can produce
Mhm.
a comedy show for like 10 people, 20 people in a little garage and just for
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah,
But I actually want to make money doing it. It's two different mindsets, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Produce for fun, just have fun. Produce for money, you got to make it a business. You know,
Yeah,
you got to be
yeah,
business minded. So that's how I started. I was like, I'm just going to produce a show. And then I figured out that I was pretty good at that. So I'm like, okay, it's a lot of work though, as you know.
yeah,
You,
yeah. That's why I was thinking, like, and with you being in it and being out there, like, how hard is it to get others to be involved? Because it's your thing, and let's say you
so
might not be the biggest comic, but
yeah,
how do how does that work?
you build credibility. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me is building relationships and
Hmm.
building credibility. My
Yeah.
credibility, don't fuck with my credibility. I don't like it. Like,
Right.
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Reputations is everything.
That's everything. I don't like it. Personally, I don't care. My exes call me crazy. Who cares? But who cares? But in business, I can't have you fucking with my business credibility.
Right,
So
right.
the way I do it and the way my shows all usually sell out is because the comics I book are not only good comics, but they're also good people.
Yeah.
And then they trust me that I'm going to put on a good show.
Mm,
So because they trust me, they are more willing to invite their fan base out to the show
mhm.
versus a show that they know is going to be just bullshit, right?
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
if anybody does a bullshit
No, you
show, but
good. Mhm.
yeah, so that's credibility is everything. That's how people want to work with me because they know
Yeah.
that I'm not going to cheat them, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to, not pay them if I say I'm going to pay them,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we've all been in situations where we got like scammed some kind of way, either with time on the stage or
Mm.
money or something, a crooked venue or something like that. So, like you said, the credibility part of it is very, very important.
So
So,
important.
what about connections and networking? Like, how important is that in this industry?
Connections and networking is so important because most of the time you make it because of who you know. A lot
Yeah.
of times, not every time, but a lot of times. I will admit that that's something I get to work on personally because
Mm.
people don't believe this, but I'm an introvert.
Right. Oh, yes.
Like I prefer to be at home writing than to be
Right.
out. Like if I'm one of those people that if I'm at a show, I'm in the corner working on my set. I'm not the one
Oh,
mingling and
right.
hey,
Mingling out and yeah,
no,
loud and uh-huh.
no. I can do it after the show, but before the show,
Yeah.
I'm very
Focus.
don't speak to me.
Yeah.
But what I do well is connect with people one on one.
Mm.
So when it's a big group, I'm like, who cares? I don't need to talk. But when it's one on
Yeah.
one, I make sure that I connect with you and we build something from there. If things vibe,
Right,
uh,
right.
yeah. And then you hook me up with something. I hook you up with something. I refer you to a show. You refer
Hmm.
me to a show. You know,
Yeah,
we.
that's that connecting. That's what it's
Mhm.
all about. That's why I tell people all the time, like try to make as many connections because you'll weed out the bad connections and because like you said, reputation is everything. So you don't want to be
Yeah,
connected or known to be associated with anyone that's just not good for business. But at the same
right,
token, you do want to connect with people that are gonna like shoot you in the right direction. What
right.
about good chemistry with comedians? Like
Huge.
comedians that yeah.
Mhm.
No, okay. So what I was going to ask is like every comedian don't do jokes the same.
Right.
So how do you find your chemistry with other comedians?
Do you mean as friends or do you mean
Like
on stage?
like genres of comedy, or because some people could
Mhm.
be like super raunchy, other people can have that dry humor or that what they call it the slap stick or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how do you find your groove or your chemistry with others?
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Can we keep it real?
Yeah,
Okay.
all day long here. Yeah.
I can only be good friends with comics who are funny. I don't care what kind of, I don't care if you're, I don't care if you're dry humor, dark humor, silly. You know what I mean? I don't care. As long as you're, whatever comedy you're doing, you're funny and you're good at it. Then you're funny though. Like you're professional. You committed to the craft. You write jokes and punchlines. Because there's a lot of comics now who don't write jokes and punchlines. You know what I mean? They just, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they're not
what
writing
are they doing if they write jokes?
I mean, they're writing jokes, but it sounds more like conversational jokes.
Oh, got you.
There's a difference between a conversational joke and a stage joke. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they don't really quite get the difference. So they're saying the same jokes they're saying at Thanksgiving dinner where their family laughed.
Right. The normal funny jokes.
Yeah. And it's like that's not a stand-up joke. It's a stand-up is a skill, you know?
Yeah.
So my point is the chemistry comes from if we both mutually think we're funny.
I got you. Yeah. You're like, hey, wait a minute, you funny, man. And you're like, nah, you funny too.
Right. We have to mutually respect each other's comedy. I have a very hard time being friends with someone, close friends with someone that I don't think is that funny.
I'm with you. You know,
it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to laugh at my jokes, and I got to laugh at yours. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta respect your craft. I gotta respect it.
Yeah, like I don't respect. So you one of them that be like, I don't respect your joke, man.
I didn't say
we
that.
can't have coffee.
I don't say it. We can have coffee. We just can't be good friends. Like I'm not gonna.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
No,
because
I get it.
Because the thing is, their level of joke writing and mindset is different. Then.
Yeah.
It's a different level of commitment to the craft.
Right.
So then when we talk, it doesn't match.
Right.
You know?
You don't mesh. Ain't no yeah. So going into that, I asked this to every guest that I've had. Continuing education on your craft. Like how important is that?
All the time. I took comedy classes all the way up to like last year.
Yeah, wow.
I always because it told you accountable to write new jokes. And then your teacher helps you with punch-ups. Right? You meet other comics. You know, you network with other comics and make friendships. So I'm always, and I watch comedy specials. I don't watch a lot.
See, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I like, I'll watch over. Like I've watched Wanda Sykes over and over. You know, like, over and over.
Yeah.
You know, just to like see, wow, like the way I'm like, when am I gonna Chris Rock? You know, just
those are, I mean, all brilliant comedians too. And you know, it's like because it's like basketball or any sport or anything like that, you got to continue to improve in it to be consistent.
You know, you can also learn by watching your peers who are really good.
Yeah. Yep. Taking things from them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because sometimes. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Because sometimes stars and famous people, they've been doing it so long, it's like kind of like, when am I going to get there? But your peers who are still doing the clubs you do, the shows that you do, it's a good study. That's why I don't understand when new comics leave the room. Like, why are you leaving the room? You should be in here. Right. You should be in here learning. Where are you going? To another open mic?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying too, is like you want to know, because you might have a certain style of doing something, and this comic that you missed because you left the room might have something totally different that you might need a piece of, or it might be inquiring to. I mean, you know, it might be something that inspires you for the next time that you're on the stage.
Right. You got to watch. You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
And
personally, that's what I think personally.
Right. Well, I was at a barbershop one time, not too long ago, and it was an older barber. He had been in prison. He had just got out. He was cutting my hair, and I was like, you know, with the new style of the way they do hair, cut hair and stuff like that, some of the new techniques. How did you learn that if you learned how to cut hair before you went to prison? And, you know, he was like, I go on YouTube. I was thinking he was going to say, like, I go back to the haircut, you know, the barber school that I went to, and they give up, like, refresher classes. No, he said YouTube. I get on YouTube.
That's smart.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you could watch a 30-minute stand-up on YouTube, just like he can go in there and learn how to line up or use all the enhancements that they use. So yeah, I
That's
just
so great.
wonder.
Yeah. No, and it's great that he was smart enough to do it. He didn't have ego. He
Right,
was like,
right.
he was like, no, this is how I do it. He's like, no, let me go see how the new kids are doing it now.
Right. Because I mean, that's how you advance. It's like you going back to school or brushing up on things, learning from other comedians and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That is how you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
So I got a couple other questions. One would
Yeah.
be, tell us a little bit about the 30-minute and the hour special that you've done.
A little bit about it. You mean how it came about, or just whatever?
Or just for people that haven't seen it yet, why they should see it.
Ooh, you know what? Okay, for the 30-minute special, watch it. No, that's a great question. You ask good questions.
Thank you.
That's such a big.
Huh?
I love it when people ask good questions. I love it when people ask good questions, because sometimes you get interviewed and the interviewer is talking more than the, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't wanna...
I hate that, man.
Anyway, you're great.
Thank you.
And I'm like, oh, he's really interested in me. Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't trust me. I wouldn't have you over here if I wasn't. Yeah, but no. Okay.
So for the 30-minute special, watch it, because then you'll see how I was for my first ever special. So you'll get to see someone whose first ever 30-minute special that they did. You right? So how did she do it? What did she talk about? Did she do? Because I ended up doing some crowd work, and and I drink whiskey during my sets. So in 30 minutes, I was getting kind of like at the end, like,
with it, like whiskey. You ain't drinking no little wine or nothing. You're talking about like, you serious?
So yes, watch it for that, and of course for the jokes and the whole production. Okay.
Yeah.
The 1 hour special on Prime Video, watch it for the story. Because I tell my whole story about my childhood, my parents. My dad was abusive. My mom was a doormat. My mom passed away, right?
Yeah.
What else? Like how I became a massage girl. The story is about a massage girl. I got busted being a massage girl.
Oh yeah, I'm most definitely watching it.
Yeah, how did I get into jail? So with that, it's more the whole story. So watch it for the ride of the story.
Yeah.
And then also remember that that's my first ever hour, and I did it after 3 years in stand-up. So it's not going to be as polished as I am now. So that's why I'm excited to do my next special, where people can compare, oh, this is how she was 3 years in.
Yeah.
And this is like 6-7 years in.
Wow.
So watch it for the story.
See that's what I'm talking about. See, I'm glad you mentioned that, but because I was going to ask you about growth anyway. But so one story, the 30-minute was before the hour, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So now you got all this, and so when did you do the 30-minute? How long ago was that?
The 30-minute I did in August 2021.
Okay, so that would have been 3 years ago. And when did you do the 1 hour?
1 hour I did November 2021.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
So I kind of did it back to back.
Yeah, back to back, but it still probably was some type of growth, from the 2-month period, actually,
right?
Or 1 month period.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you like now, looking at all those and others that you did before then? What would you say about your growth now to this day?
I would say my specials were terrible.
I probably should have asked that like in the recap, like after everybody watched the 2 videos.
No, I'm joking.
Back that up. Let me edit that. Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It has the punchlines are all there. The jokes are well written. All of you, I hit all the points mechanically, but I'm not as myself as I am now. I'm not as loose. I'm not as understanding the crowd. I'm not as smooth as I am now, right? Yeah. But if I didn't tell anybody that I was only 3 years in, people would think that I was 5, 6, 7 years in that special,
Really?
just because of the skills of it, just because of the punchlines and the joke
Right.
writing and the
Yeah.
performance. But I personally can tell, and I'm being honest with y'all. I can personally
Mhm.
tell, like, oh, I should have, you know,
Yeah, like, and it comes with time though, right? You know what I'm saying? Like those are things you wouldn't have, even if you looked at that video, and you probably did, of course,
Yeah.
after you did it, you was probably like, oh yeah, I'm good. That's nice. You know what I'm saying?
I-
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
You're like,
now, yeah, you're like, oh snap. Yeah, I'm like, you like, oh snap, and then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you like, yeah, like,
Like,
but
damn.
yeah,
I could have done different, you know.
Hell
But
yeah.
it's all a learning curve. I'm not
Right.
ashamed of it. It's all a learning curve. And the big thing is that I committed to it and I did it. That was the big thing. Because do you know how many people in this industry don't follow through with what they say they're gonna do? So
I agree. You tell
Commit-
coming soon, so and so, and then you never see coming soon. You know.
so
Yeah.
and I self-produced it, which was a big moment for me. Like I did it
You did? I
yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah. Well, that's even more impressive. So, okay, I got a couple more questions, but I got to get that one. Like, getting the
Yeah.
opportunity to do it. So you self-produced both of them?
No, the 30
Oh.
minute was produced, but the 1 hour I self-executive produced. So I was
how did- Okay,
Uh-huh.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
executive produced, meaning like I found other producers, I found investors, I
Yeah.
booked the crew, I booked the venue. Everything was on me. I executive produced it myself. It wasn't like I had someone say, "Here's 50 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do your special," you know.
Yeah. So
That's why my hour is very speakeasy, very dim. The vibe is
Mhm.
very intimate. Just me telling my story because it's not a $50,000 budget, you know.
Right. Right.
So yeah, you produce. So I'm telling you, you can do everything yourself nowadays. You just have to commit to it and do it
Mhm.
and do it
So
well.
how challenging was it to get Peacock involved in Prime and all that? Like,
So for the Peacock one, I wasn't involved in it at all. They just paid me for the special, and then they took care of everything.
oh, that's dope. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And for Prime, I submitted it, and then they accepted it. So
Nice. Yeah, nice. See, well, that's pretty good. I mean, is that part of the connections?
No.
I'm like, okay.
I wish.
Yeah, I'm like,
No, if that was part of the connections, I would have been like, "Listen, Prime, give me $100,000 to do this."
right. Right. Look, stop playing and give me, add another zero to that. Yeah, okay. Well, because I just wonder, because I've heard horror stories about people trying to get placements, on
Yeah.
networks and stuff. So for you to have one on Peacock and Prime, that's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
So I got a couple more questions. One
Yes.
would be, like,
Uh-huh.
who have been your influences since you've been going on this journey, this comedian journey?
Like famous people?
No, I mean, whoever. Yeah. Hmm.
First of all, Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
Ugh. Wanda Sykes. I watched her special, Sick and Tired, during one of my massage girl days in the hotel. On HBO. You know they have HBO.
Yeah, on every hotel. Every hotel had HBO.
Right. So they played Sick and Tired. So I
Wow.
watched Sick and Tired. I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And I was like so enamored by Wanda Sykes. So Wanda Sykes is a big influence. Chris Rock,
Yeah.
Bigger and
absolutely.
Blacker. I watched Bigger and Blacker so many times. Bigger and
Man, that
Blacker.
dude, man, oh man, Chris Rock stand up used to have me rolling.
Rolling. Chris Rock. And then Chappelle, of course.
Yeah.
Chappelle.
Mhm.
Because of how thoughtful he is and how fearless,
Yeah.
and how he just speaks. He's just who he is. He doesn't care. If
No.
It's Chappelle. I like Gerard Carmichael.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of him. I've heard of him.
Margaret Cho is a big one.
Are you talking about the Notorious?
No,
Yeah.
Margaret
Yeah, that's all I'm about to say. That the notorious CHO. Yeah, I was gonna ask. I was wondering if you go throw her out there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Margaret Cho. Those are my biggest influences. And then of course, for my peers, the ones who are the good writers, I'm in love with people who write good jokes. My friend Susan Ware writes great jokes, great one-liners. You know, people who inspire me to like up my game. Like
right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I need to write like that.
Right.
You know?
You see them and you like, man, I need to brush up on some stuff.
I know. Yeah. So anybody who's a good writer, great. I appreciate excellent writing more than I appreciate good performance. Just for me, just in my book, because I feel like writing is very hard. Writing a good joke is really hard.
That's what I hear too. You know, it sounds it looks easy. I would say it looks easy for people that do it all the time. Yeah. But people that don't do it, I guarantee it will be hard. And like you said, everything's not funny to everybody.
No, it's not.
So like you said, what'd you say? The jokes at the dinner table.
Yeah, that's what they.
That's me all day. That's me all day. But I guarantee, if I got up there and tried to do what you do, I walk off the stage. I'll be like, all right, 2 jokes in, I'm out. Peace.
Go leave on a high. Yeah.
Drop the mic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dropping the mic. They'd be like, remember that dude that came in and dropped the mic after 2 jokes?
Yeah.
That's me.
See?
Yeah, that's me.
That's hilarious.
But the last thing I would ask is, for any aspiring comedians that are wanting to do this, but just don't know, because being a comedian, I respect your craft because I know how hard it could be. What type of words of wisdom and advice do you have, or can you give them?
All right. For comedians, okay, there's 2 ways to do it. If you're brand spanking new, there's 2 ways to do it. One way, you're brave. You just go to an open mic, take your notebook up there, and just read whatever jokes you think you wrote. Try it. Study the greats. Learn how to write a setup and a punchline. Setup and punchline. So to start, just start with trying to write setup and punchline.
Setup and punch.
Right. I know some people think they're storyteller jokes. They're storytellers, et cetera, et cetera. Even in your stories, you have to have a punchline.
Right.
Okay. Or number 2, you can take a class. Take a class, but find the right teacher, because not all teachers are right. It's like finding the right therapist, hairstylist, whatever. Find the right teacher for you, for your voice, who will allow you to be who you are as a comic and nurture that part of you. So don't find a teacher that's going to try to make you do something you don't want to do. Like, find a teacher that just nurtures who you are and brings out more of who you are. My big thing I always tell women, comics, is that you have to care about your jokes and your punchlines as much or more than your outfit. That is very important.
Nice. That's nice.
Important. I don't want women to be the only women on the lineup looking cute and have no jokes.
Right. Yeah, because people get distracted by the way they look, but then eventually realize she ain't really that funny.
Is she a comic, or
you can only talk about this so many times, and then it's like
we're over it. Now we're done. We've looked at the crop top, we've looked at the tight jeans, we looked at your shoes, your hair, we looked at all that. So now where's the substance though? So that's my thing about women, because I want women to be able to be on a lineup with men and be just as funny.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not just to yourself and your friends, but like to the audience.
Right. Well, and this, I'm pretty sure that you would rather be known as a comedian and not a female comedian.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Just, can you hang with the big boys? Like,
right. Period.
It is what it is. Like, it's a male-dominated industry. Whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
But if you're funny, they're gonna respect you.
Yeah, like you said, Wanda Sykes to me is one of the funniest comedians. Not funniest female comedians, funniest comedians.
Right. And just remember for women, like if you don't focus on your jokes and being a good comic, you're just adding to the stereotype. You're just adding to it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it don't matter if your friends tell you you're funny.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. Now you talk about me. So I need to hear this. I'm listening in. I'm listening in right now.
Your audiences have to tell you you're funny. Not your friends are going to think you're funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least
Funny
they're going to tell you
looking.
that. So
Yeah.
I just want women to be up there just as funny as all the men.
Yeah.
Even playing field,
Right.
That's
That's how it should be.
It's my feminist
You
side.
said that.
That's it. My feminist
You
side.
said, your feminist side.
I'm not really like feminine power. I don't really care, but that's part of
Yeah.
it coming out because I just don't want us to be known as just pretty,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. No, I
Mhm.
feel you though. I mean, it means a lot, and that's why I wanted to do this series because people forget how instrumental women are to society, to the
Oh,
culture. You know what I'm saying? Like they sometimes forget. So I wanted to do that, and I appreciate your time
yeah.
on here. You had me laughing. My stomach's kind of hurting already. I still gotta watch your specials. Now you got me interested on everything because a lot of this stuff I didn't know. But for the viewers that are tuning in and that will be tuning into this, where can they find you at online?
I am on Instagram, TikTok, and TikTok as at Lynn Torius, like notorious, but Lynn
Oh, okay.
Torius. And then
Lynn
Facebook, you can just
Torres.
find me, Lynn Sun. Find me on
Lynn Son.
Nate's page. I'm his
Yeah,
friend.
yeah. I tried to get you on Instagram, but I didn't know about the Lentorius. So now I
Lynn,
know, because I was
Lynn.
trying to tag you in something. But yeah, so you heard it, Len Son on Facebook. Everywhere else, Lentorius.
That's right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. This was so great.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you had fun because I had fun. And like I said, I want to thank you again. And I will let you know and all the rest of the viewers who are tuning in that this will be rebroadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn.
Yay.
So
And
yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah. So that's why we got to do it for each other. You know what I'm saying? We got to network. We have to help each other out. We have to support each other. I'm all
That's
about
right.
that. So,
That's
but thanks again, Lynn. I know that you're a busy woman in general, not only a comedian but a parent. And I know
right.
it got to be like
Oh,
8:48 Cali
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Not bad.
so I know little one probably want to go to bed. He probably tired of hearing me in the background. So,
It's summertime. They stay up
oh,
late.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Well,
It's summer.
enjoy the rest of your night, and we will
Thank you.
oh yeah, before I get off here, and this is live still. I do want to say that my goal is still to bring you and the others that I wanted to be on that podcast to
Mhm.
Kansas City to do a stand-up show.
Let's do it.
We gonna talk because now everybody is doing like you doing big things on Peacock. Michelle's doing things. All of everybody that was on that podcast is doing pretty good now. So we need to
Do it.
just get together and do it.
I'm there.
And you
I
gotta
promise.
when you
Yeah.
come, you gotta wear a Chiefs hat, right?
As
I'm
long
just
as I don't
playing.
have to wear Taylor Swift, nothing. Taylor
Oh
Swift.
no, we don't even give me a yeah. But you see what I'm wearing? I'm rapping right now.
I would wear Chiefs. I'm kidding. I would wear a Kansas City shirt.
Okay.
Why not? I'm
Okay.
not a hater.
That's
I
all
would
I'm
wear,
asking.
I would wear a Taylor Swift shirt if I had to wear a Taylor Swift shirt. Like I'm not a hater.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I do want to come to Kansas City. Please make it happen.
Yeah, we gotta make it happen. Gotta
Yeah.
make it happen. So, all right. Well, thanks again, and like I said, we will most definitely talk soon. And thank everybody that tuned in and that will be tuning in. And we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
See ya.